This video is brought to you by Colton Aliff and Jenna Valdez, and it is meant to educate you guys on methane gas emissions, but more specifically the emissions from landfills. Methane is the second most prevalent greenhouse gas emitted in the United States from human activities. In 2013, methane accounted for about 10% of all U.S. greenhouse gas emissions from human activities. Methane is emitted by natural sources such as wetlands, and as well as human activities such as leakage from natural gas systems and the raising of livestock. Natural processes in soil and chemical reactions in the atmosphere help to remove this methane from the atmosphere. Methane's lifetime in the atmosphere is much shorter than that of carbon dioxide, but methane is much more efficient at trapping radiation than CO2. So pound for pound, the comparative impact of methane on climate change is 25 times greater than that of CO2 over a 100-year period. And as you can see, landfills account for about 18% of these methane emissions. Landfill gas is a natural byproduct of the decomposition of organic material in landfills. Landfill gas is comprised of roughly 50% methane, also the primary component of natural gas, 50% carbon dioxide, and a small amount of non-methane organic compounds. When municipal solid waste is first deposited in a landfill, it undergoes an aerobic decomposition stage when little methane is generated. Then, typically within less than 1 year, and anaerobic conditions are established, a methane-producing bacteria begins to decompose the waste and generate methane.
So we wanted to figure out about how many kilograms of methane are emitted daily from your average landfill. And we first used the fact that if there's about 135 kilotons per year brought into your average landfill. So the way we calculated this, we started at by using that number, we said there was about 370 tons of municipal solid waste daily. And then we just converted that into megatons, so then we could use this conversion factor of there being about 432,000 cubic feet of landfill gases per megaton that is brought in. And for every cubic foot of that gas, there's 12 kilograms of methane. And for landfill gases, about 50% of that is going to be methane, so we just divided it by 2, and that's how we came to the number 960 kilograms of methane per day at your average landfill emitted. From our first calculation, we wanted to know how much energy is emitted, so we got this number of 960 kilograms of methane per day. So then we just used the energy density of methane as 50 megajoules per kilogram, and we just converted that into joules, and we got 9.6 times 10 to the 8th joules per day.
The Cold Canyon landfill, located in San Luis Obispo, can take in a maximum of 187 kilotons of municipal solid waste per year. That correlates to over 1,300 kilograms of methane being emitted daily. We saw from our calculation that there is an astonishing amount of methane being emitted from landfills daily. Engineers and scientists alike, however, are taking steps to use the emitted energy for good. Landfill gas treatment and energy projects are popping up all across the U.S. The gas is harnessed from the landfills, then condensed and heated to create fuel for heat and electricity. According to the EPA, these technologies could generate about 0.78 megawatts of power.
So hopefully from the information that we've given you, you've come to the conclusion that methane is not very good, and that we should definitely look into this problem. Well, as you can see from the graph, methane emissions in the United States have decreased by almost 15% between 1990 and 2013. This is also alongside the trend that carbon dioxide emissions are also decreasing. During this time period, emissions increased from sources associated with agricultural activities, while the emissions decreased from sources associated with exploration and production of natural gas and petroleum products. In 2013, the President issued a broad-based climate action plan to cut the pollution that causes climate change and domestic public health. The plan has 3 key pillars: cutting domestic greenhouse gas emissions, preparing the United States for the impacts of climate change, and continuing American leadership in international efforts to combat global climate change. They are also looking into updating common sense rules to reduce landfill emissions, enhancing landfill gas to energy projects similar to what Jenna discussed, and reducing landfill waste.